Nikki, last year the European Commission put forward proposals to, I guess, rein in the excesses of high-frequency trading. The Parliament votes on it today. I presume you expect it to go through. What are some of the big changes that are going to occur, do you think?
Well, the idea is not to ban high-frequency trading or anything like that, but to put constraints on it so that it becomes either more expensive or it can be done in a more limited way, or high-frequency traders have to remain in the market. It's really to constrain the sort of excesses of the practice, which has, after all, been sort of not blamed for, but very much associated with the flash crash when the US stock market absolutely plummeted in 2010 in a very quick period of time.
And invariably there are some sensible proposals and some less so. Which are the sensible ones, do you think?
Well, I think the idea of having a ratio between unexecuted orders and trades is quite sensible. I mean, that's done in some trading venues already. People want to push it a bit further. It's a question really of how much you differentiate between type of product, the liquidity of the underlying product, the capacity of the venue itself, the electronic capacity of some markets, particularly the big markets, is much greater than some of the small ones. So that's really quite a good idea. At the other end of the scale, whether the idea of imposing higher fees, essentially on high-frequency traders, is a good idea, I'm not so sure of. I mean, I think that's quite difficult in practice.
And is that on a per trade basis, or is that a sort of fee that a trading house would pay on an annual basis? How does that work?
It's more transaction
per transaction
related.
based.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. But there are all sorts of ideas out there, and although the Parliament, it's a parliamentary committee who's voting on it today and setting out the negotiating position for the Parliament, the final rules will only be hammered out with the member states, with the countries, and that's going to be a very long and difficult negotiation, I think.
And bizarrely, the German government came up with its own set of potential rules today. Does that get assumed into this if this goes through?
The Germans, I think, have said that they have jumped the gun, and this puts quite a lot of pressure, I think, on the European Brussels fraternity to come up with something here. But they have said that they'll bring them into line with EU regulations, and that seems sensible. But it's certainly a pressure point. The German proposals aren't terribly extreme. I mean, again, there's no sort of banning of high-frequency trading or anything like that.
So from here, at least we know the position of the Parliament, and I suspect it'll be a long time before we know the effect on any of the companies. So thanks very much, Nikki.